Welcome back to EarthX 2026. My name is Paul Salfin, and today we are joined by two fantastic individuals that are doing great things that you're definitely going to want to know. Dr. Serena McCalla and Prahaladh Gopalakrishnan. Welcome. We are so honored to be with you today and amongst all these great minds here on Earth Day. And tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you're working on.
That's a loaded question, I do a lot. I am the CEO and founder of iResearch Corporation, and in this company, we work with very high-level science research projects in bioinformatics, AI, and machine learning with high school and early college students. So our goal is to explore untapped data science that is available free and ask and answer questions that could have been answered previously, but were not. And we aim to publish white papers on the research that these high schoolers are doing in order to expand a variety of fields of science, including environmental science, of course, genetics and biological sciences, and even physics. I was in a Disney movie called Science Fair, and then we had a series called Science Fair, the series, and it showed how some of the students that I work with actually continue on to compete at a high level at the Regeneron International Science and Engineering Fair and the Regeneron Science Talent Search, and I've had the most winningest streak in the world for my students.
Amazing. That's wonderful. And this gentleman I met last night at the reception, and I could not believe what he was working on. Tell us a little bit about it.
My name is Prahaladh Gopalakrishnan. I am 16 years old. I am supposed to be a high school student, but I am part of this program called TAMS, Texas Academy of Mathematics and Science. And so I am pursuing chemical engineering degree. It's my freshman year. I do a few things on the side. I have a lot of side hustles. One of my favorite things to talk about is I'm doing research under Dr. Thomas Kundari for sustainable ammonia production using chemical synthesis. And then I am co-founder and co-CEO of Daedalus Labs, which is a hydrogel thermal management company. We found out that solar panels, they heat up very fast and they lose a lot of efficiency when they do that. Right now, the way of cooling is extremely unsustainable. You have to funnel water through, fans, heat sinks, everything else. It's not environmentally friendly. So what we've done is, me and my co-founders, we found a polymer that you can put on the back of the solar panels that just does the exact same thing, even more efficient and without any electricity or power.
Wow. It's incredible. Well, both of you have that incredible spark about you that makes you special and stand out. And up here on the stage today, when did you first realize, both of you, that you had that something that made you realize, I got to do this for a living?
I'm way older than Prahaladh. But I think my spark started when I was 3, 4. I used to ask my dad all the time, like, why is the sky blue? Why is a gecko soft versus a lizard being hard? And he would just look at me like, why is she asking these questions? And he would ask me more questions.
Yes.
And I think that triggered my love of the natural world. And I decided at that point that science was going to be my life. So it started for me really early on that I just wanted to understand all of the intricacies of the world and the things around me.
I think for me, it stems from my family, similar to you. My mom is a bio professor at Tarrant County College. And as a child, when I was even in the womb, she would read me biology textbooks.
I love it.
Oh, wow.
And every time I was younger, I would fall asleep to hearing about biology. And I think it did something to my brain. It wired me differently. And I started to think about, I really love science. I really love learning about everything. But why don't adults talk to kids about these things? Why don't adults think that kids can learn the same way that they can? I think that education is the priority that all people should have, and that's where I started getting that passion. I thought that students weren't educated enough, in sustainability and STEM education. So I went on a
Period.
mission to educate students to bring STEM education and sustainability and curiosity to them. I feel like the current generation, it's just instant rewards. I can go on my phone, I can just Google anything up, I can do whatever I want at any time. But real scientific innovation comes from failure, it comes from strain, and a
Perseverance.
lot of kids don't know how to do that. And that's where it started from.
So are we educating fast enough for the climate changes that we're seeing ahead, the challenges?
No, I think education is failing students. And I used to be an educator in a classroom, and I can say that, and I believe that that is true. I believe that we underestimate the passion that kids have. We underestimate their ability to adapt in a very fast changing world. I think we underestimate their desire to do more and to be the leaders that I think that they can be. I don't think education is moving forward. I think we're stuck in a 100 years ago cycle of chalk talk and talking at students instead of asking them, what do you want to know and why? I think the reason why my programs have been so successful is because I let the kids lead.
Yes.
I'm not the director. I don't tell them what I want them to learn. I ask them, what do you want to learn? And then tell me why. And it needs to have a backbone. It needs to have, knowledge, real knowledge, research-based knowledge, not ChatGPT, Claude. I want you to actually open up a journal and read it and tell me why you think that this is a question that needs to be answered. And I think that that shifts how they look at the world. Yeah. It actually encourages them to say, my questions are valid and important. Let me go figure out what the answers are. Mm-hmm. And I don't think education is taught that way. I think that people are very happy with the status quo, with textbooks that say things that someone wrote 35 years ago that may not be true today because the world is moving really fast. In addition, I think that we don't fall in love with technology. Mm-hmm. We use the games, the things that people say work, but we don't really employ new ideas to those technologies. We don't ask the kid, recode this, see how you can make this more efficient to answer questions X, Y, and Z. We don't do that. We kind of say, hey, use this because I think it's okay to use. No, let them break things, let them fail, let them figure out that there are, other answers to come from a single question.
And as a student, or most recently a student, you didn't see enough teaching about this, right?
Traditional education is failing. Mm-hmm. I think as a student, I need to come out and say it. The education system is failing, and we need to acknowledge that. Students, like you were saying, are being taught the curriculum the same the last 100 years. The way that I think of it is innovation and education, it comes with the times. You'll see that back in the 1200s, we had specific innovations and specific things that helped that time. And in any other technology, you'll see that it keeps catching up. But for some reason, education hasn't caught up with the times yet. As a student, if I'm in a lecture, I do not learn. That's the end of it, because we've been raised by technology to be hyperactive. And unfortunately, we can't expect our students that are hyperactive to learn traditionally. Mm-hmm. We have to bring in a sense of project-based learning where they have to explore themselves. I really respect what you're doing because that's exactly what I would want to have when I was in their shoes. And at the same point in time, I think that we can't expect to reshape the education system overnight.
No.
It's not possible.
They won't let you.
What we need to do, though, is we need to start slowly changing school by school, student by student, and we need to start advocating for better sustainable education. Sustainability isn't green in this sense, it's long lasting. Right now, our education system is about to collapse.
So what breakthrough in chemistry do you see coming that could make a really big change?
I think we already have breakthroughs in chemistry coming with the increased speed of computers. Mm-hmm. We are looking at models of genetics structures and chemical structures that we've never been able to imagine before. But we also need to have caution because some of the programs that we're building are not accurate. So I don't think that we're going to throw away all technology with the bathwater. I think that we're going to have to embed technology that's highly tested to make sure that that technology is actually correct. Because one of my favorite programs is AlphaFold.
Yes.
And it does a phenomenal job understanding structure, but it's also like 65% wrong.
Yes.
And that wasn't until recently that people started investigating AlphaFold to see that it was actually making a lot more mistakes than they thought it was. So I think that in the future, we're going to keep using technology to improve what we understand, but we can't just give up everything else. We also will need to continue to rely on wet bench research and scientists who know what they're doing to figure out, what are the pros and cons between using those technologies. I was saying this yesterday. I was on the center stage, and I said, we have a tendency to want black and white. We need to walk in the gray sometimes, where we can have a union between the technology and the wet bench to make sure that we're not making huge mistakes that we have to later correct for. So I think that there is a fine line between using technology and education and other things, sciences, but also we have to be mindful that technology is not going to solve all of the problems. We still need thinking humans, and we need to train our students to be thinking humans so that they can continue to thrive and be successful.
Yeah. I love seeing at EarthX here, there's a lot of younger people, there's a lot of students here, and it's great to see them looking up to you and going, see, all right, this is the way I want to do it for both of you. And so for those kids that are watching, what would you say to them if they think, I don't know what to do, but I want to do something?
The first thing I would say is follow your passion. You have to figure out what makes you happy. I wake up every day, even though my job is hard. I work with a lot of students from a lot of different areas all over the United States, working with young people, and their training, their teaching all differs. And unfortunately, a lot of them are used to rote memorization. Okay, the teacher told me to memorize this, I can memorize this, and that's all they think about is what the teacher told them to memorize. I hope that we start leaning in on asking the kids what they want. It makes no sense to move forward in this generation with all of the advances that we're going to have in the next 18 months to 10 years, and to still be in a classroom telling them, well, this is the book says this, and you should memorize it. You don't need to memorize anymore. You have all of these tools that can tell you all of the facts. You don't need to sit back and now memorize everything. It's at your fingertips.
Yeah.
You need to now start applying those tools, those definitions, those terms by first knowing them and then seeing where you could go with that, And I don't think that that's being taught. I don't believe that even the bright kids that I work with are taught to think. They're not great thinkers. We're training them to become good thinkers, but they're not great thinkers yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And what would you say to the students?
I'm a student, guys. I'm in that position every day where you wake up and sometimes you feel like the world is on your shoulders because sometimes the media and everyone else makes it seem like it is. Small things matter. That is the one most important thing a student needs to realize. Every small thing you do contributes to a bigger whole. I don't expect any student to go out there and solve the food crisis. It's not going to happen. I don't expect someone who's lived 3 lifetimes to solve the food crisis in one go, because it's not possible. But every small step in the right direction does that. I think I've seen so many really interesting projects. One of the interesting projects I've seen is using current oil spills to remove microplastics from water. We're already cleaning up the oil spills. We might as well reduce the microplastics while we're at it. We're not fully making the world sustainable, but we are making the transition to it. I'm a chemist at heart, so I'm going to talk a bit of chemistry. We're making a transition state. This is a transition state between our minimum and our maximum. We can't expect to have a straight line. It's parabola. It's going to be difficult, but we have to get there. it's thermodynamically possible. We are always going from a low concentration, which we're at right now, that high concentration of knowledge is gonna come. If you're a student, advocate for yourself. Those doors, they're not impossible to break through. And if enough people advocate with enough time, you will make an impact.
100%.
Well, you've both got that wonderful spark that where I know that you get up in the morning and you've got it going. And so what do both of you tell yourselves when you wake up in the morning that kind of keeps you on that right path that lets you do what you do now?
One small thing can change the life of a lot of people. I have students who I've been teaching 15 years. I've met 15 years ago, and they may not be scientists, but they're entrepreneurs. I have one I'm thinking about right now. He's worth $500 million. He's 30. He owns 240 restaurants across the United States and China. And I know that even though he's in the restaurant business, he's going to impact people because he has resources now available to him to impact people. So he knew one of my mottos when I work with him, I've known him since he was 14, was pay it forward. Whatever you're doing in this life, it wasn't by accident. Take those gifts and do something with them. And it doesn't have to just be money. It could just, it could be planting a tree. It could be cleaning up a river in a small town in your neighborhood, in your old neighborhood. There are so many ways that the kids, I think, are influenced by just small acts of kindness that we embed in our programming. Of course, I have doctors and scientists. I have one of my students recently just finished her PhD in chemical engineering. And I watched her defense, and I'm just so proud to see that these kids are going to do something that changes the world. Like you stated, one person's not going to fix every problem. But if each one of us helps another person to do something great, they're going to end up helping a bunch of people do something great. So it's just that one step.
It's beautifully said.
I think for me, and this might take a sort of dark turn, but I wake up and I said, if I died today, would I be happy? And it may not be a fully bright and sunny idea, but unfortunately the world isn't always bright and sunny. And to me, I like to think, if I wake up today and I'm out of this world, what impact have I made and will I be happy? And right now I am not happy with the impact I make. And it's not only my impact, it's how the world is. And I suggest that every student, don't do what I do, but think, if for some reason you can't see this earth again, are you happy with how it is? And if you think like that, you will be inspired to do something different because you see the existential need to change the world. And that is a lot of pressure on your shoulders, which is why I also say, don't take yourself too seriously. You're not Superman. You have to think like you're Superman and act like you're an ant. An ant can carry 50 times its own weight, and a human brain can do the same thing. But we're not Superman. So get your team. A team of ants can lift a building. So that's how I go about inspiring myself and other students.
We also want them to have fun.
Yeah,
You're a teenager. Don't carry so much pressure.
that's right.
Enjoy a little.
Enjoying, I think you can make impact while enjoying yourself.
Absolutely, but you also need to enjoy. I think there has to be balance in everything we do.
Of course.
I used to feel like I was just on a solo mission in life to change the world of all of my students and make sure that but balance is also important.
Very.
And I think that with balance, we continue to grow and do better things and help more people.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm a better person because now I have balance. I
Yes.
still do what I need to do to make sure that my students are phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I also have balance where I go and I put my feet in the grass. And
I think that
go on a beach.
balance is sustainable. And if we're trying to bring in a sustainable universe, we have to incorporate balance into that sustainable universe.
Okay.
It is, all of these things are at the forefront. We're trying to make the world a better place. But as you were saying, balance is at the center of it because you will burn yourself out if you don't.
That is true.
Yeah. Well, EarthX is a fantastic place to connect with people with great minds like yourself. I hope you've had a chance to connect with so many good people that have had a chance to listen to you. Right?
I have. I think that they're an amazing group of innovators and thought changers and motivated people who want to see this beautiful Earth that Artemis 2 got to see from a distance. And I said this yesterday when we were on stage, that if everyone was paying attention to the crew of Artemis 2, what did they keep saying? How beautiful this sphere was. They're literally going into the universe further than anyone else. And they kept focused on the fact that the planet Earth was the most beautiful thing they saw in the distance. That hit me. Like, it made me feel like my fight is valid, my fight is worthy, my fight is necessary, because this planet is worth saving.
It's beautiful. I know you've had a great time.
I'm 16, and I'm going to come back to that. And coming to a conference like this, I get to meet people like you, and you inspire me. Today has been, and this past week has been inspirational. I feel as if we're not alone in this anymore.
We're not.
We have a community. Unfortunately, it seems like it's all isolated a lot of times. But this is a community effort that brings everyone together and shows us that we are not isolated.
Yes.
We have a family, we have a team behind us. I'm so thankful for everything that all of y'all do and how you inspire the next generation.
Yes. Beautifully said. Well, thank you both so much for being with us, and thank you for your great insight and for being here and sharing your knowledge with everyone and everyone at home that's watching. So stay tuned. We'll be back with more at EarthX 2026 next. All right.